Hello, my name is Michael Sachs, and I'm very pleased to welcome you to our Healthcare Leadership Program. In addition to serving as academic director for this program, I'm also a professor in organization and management here at the Goizueta Business School, a professor of sociology in our College of Arts and Sciences, and I have the honor of serving as academic director for the Woodruff Leadership Academy, which is our main leadership academy for healthcare here at Emory. I'd like to start this introduction by talking about why leadership training in healthcare. It's obvious that leadership training is great, but it isn't always obvious why we should be doing it in healthcare. So, for about 20 years, I've been teaching on this topic, and I work a lot across our campus here. So, often when I go to our medical school or our nursing school or our public health school or many other areas in healthcare, I'll ask them the question, how much training did you get in leadership or managing people in medical school or in your physician's assistant program or your nursing program? And the answer is almost always zero or close to that. And that's no disrespect at all to people. It's very normal. It's understandable. In fact, there's so much to learn in these programs, there often isn't a lot of space to squeeze in much about leadership. The issue then becomes as people rise in their careers and get promoted and take increasing leadership roles and opportunities, they didn't get trained in it in school, and so they have to learn after that, which is totally fine. But the problem is those who aren't trained sometimes really struggle, and they have the potential to do well with exposure to these topics. So as we were designing the program, we really thought about what are the most important topics that are necessary for healthcare leadership that people might not have been exposed to before, but with some effort and with some training, they can really master. So when I first started teaching in healthcare in 2002, I was a little nervous to do it. I got a call from the dean of the School of Medicine at the time who was starting a program in healthcare leadership. And he asked me, would I teach a session in that program? I was very nervous. Healthcare wasn't initially my background, but he urged me to do it. He said it might take a little more work. He'll help me, but he's confident we can get the job done. So I was a little nervous to do it. But pretty quickly, I found that healthcare leadership is very important and that it's a learnable skill. With some effort, people can improve pretty quickly at that. In 2008, I had the honor of taking over as academic director. So every year, I'm exposed to lots of different projects across our campus, and I've also worked with a lot of healthcare companies outside of Emory. One of the things that I've learned is Emory is one of the best universities in the world for healthcare leadership. As we thought about the topics that you'll be learning, I've identified instructors, and I often was struggling between 3, 4, or 5 people about who is the right person to be teaching the topic. It's a great problem to have. So you'll be exposed to some of the best in the world for each of the topics, and you'll have the chance to learn from them and then to apply it to your own context. As we go through, you're the experts on healthcare. You're the expert on what you do. I'll know the least in the room about healthcare. My job is to help you apply leadership principles to what you're doing. So we've designed the program sequentially to build on itself to help you build those skills. And then all along, I want you to think about how you can best apply it in your context. Learning about leadership takes focus. It takes humility. It takes a willingness to acknowledge where we struggle, to learn, to practice, and even unlearn things that just aren't going to work moving forward. One model that I was taught that I find very helpful describes 4 stages that I hope we all go through in the process of this program. The first stage is called unconsciously incompetent. These are the ways that we all struggle, the ways that we're not fully aware that we're not actually working to the best that we can. And the unconscious part means perhaps we have a blind spot, perhaps we're not fully aware of it. So I would ask you to identify it, but you might need some help. You might need to talk to a friend, to a colleague, to your boss, and ask them, what are some ways you think that I struggle, I could do better? And we all have those. It takes humility and it takes courage to acknowledge them and then identify ways we can do better. The second stage is to become consciously incompetent, more aware of the ways in which we struggle. And at first that'll be frustrating because you'll see it more. You'll become more aware of it and you'll realize its impact. But the good news is with effort, with training, with support from people around us, we can become consciously competent. And what that means is we've worked on skills, we've improved. It might take some effort, it might take some focus, but we can see the progress because we're consciously making an effort to do things differently, and we're starting to have positive effects. The ultimate goal that we hope that we get to is to become unconsciously competent. These new skills are so ingrained in us, they're so normal for us that we don't have to make such an effort and think about them as much anymore. So, as we go through the program, I want you to think about of everything you're exposed to, what are the topics that are most important for you? Where do you struggle? Where can you improve most as a leader? And then we'll put a plan together and we'll figure out how to get you from unconsciously incompetent to unconsciously competent. By doing so, you'll be a better leader and you'll help rally the people around you to do a better job for all that you serve.